In the heart of a small village in Africa, surrounded by rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a young girl named Nkem. Her name meant mine in her native tongue, but for much of her childhood, Nkem felt like she belonged to no one. From an early age, life had dealt her a harsh hand. Her mother passed away when she was just a child, and her father, overcome by grief, withdrew from the world. Nkem was left to be raised by her aunt, who often reminded her of her insignificance. "You're useless," her aunt would say, spitting on the ground as if to emphasize her disdain. The villagers, too, saw her as a burden, a shadow of her mother who once radiated light. Despite the constant ridicule, Nkem found solace in small, quiet moments. At night, she would sneak out to the riverbank, where the moonlight danced on the water. There, she would dream of a different life, a life where she could rise above her circumstances. Her only friend was an old storyteller named Baba Kofi, who noticed her silent tears one evening. He invited her to sit by his fire and began to weave tales of great warriors and wise queens who faced adversity but triumphed in the end. "Nkem," Baba Kofi said one night, "the river carves through stone not by strength but by perseverance. You too must carve your path." One day, a teacher named Miss Odeola arrived in the village. She had returned from the city, determined to bring education to the children of her homeland. When Nkem hesitantly attended her first class, Miss Odeola saw a spark in her, an unspoken hunger for knowledge. Miss Odeola encouraged Nkem to read and learn, lending her books and teaching her after school. Nkem's confidence grew with each passing day. She began to believe that she was capable of more. Slowly, she started excelling in her studies, even as the villagers continued to mock her efforts. Then came the announcement of a national scholarship program for underprivileged students. Miss Odeola urged Nkem to apply, despite the odds. "You are destined for greatness, Nkem. Let them see your light," she said. Nkem poured her heart into her application, sharing her dreams of studying abroad and returning to help her village. Weeks later, a letter arrived. With trembling hands, she opened it and read the words that would change her life forever. "Congratulations, you have been awarded a scholarship to study in Canada." The villagers were in shock. The girl they had spat on and belittled was now on her way to a land they had only heard of in stories. As she boarded the plane, Nkem whispered a promise to herself: she would return, not just for her family, but for her entire community. In Canada, Nkem faced new challenges, cultural differences, harsh winters, and the weight of her past. But she refused to let fear hold her back. She worked tirelessly, excelling in her studies and finding a new sense of purpose. She majored in social work, inspired by her desire to uplift others who had faced adversity. Nkem also shared her story with fellow students, raising awareness about the struggles faced by rural communities in Africa. Her story moved many, and soon, she started a non-profit organization dedicated to providing education and resources to villages like hers. Years later, Nkem returns to her village, not as the broken girl they once knew, but as a beacon of hope. She built a community center, providing education, healthcare, and vocational training. Her nonprofit had grown, touching the lives of countless families across the region. Nkem's journey inspired others to chase their dreams. Young girls who once felt voiceless now believed in their potential. The villagers, once blinded by prejudice, now saw Nkem for who she truly was, a hero. As Nkem stood at the riverbank one evening, watching the moonlight dance on the water, she felt a profound peace. She had carved her path, just as Baba Kofi had said, and in doing so, she had changed not just her life, but the lives of those around her. No matter where you come from or how heavy your burdens may seem, you have the power to rise, to transform, and to inspire. Like Nkem, you too can carve a path through the hardest stone.